Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are going to discuss the PYQs or the important questions for subject code BME654A. Okay, the subject name is Project Management, and in this video I'm just going to discuss for the Model 1 PYQs. And in the end I will tell you where you are going to find the notes or the question and answers. Okay, so stay till the end and let's get started. So this model covers the introduction to the project management, project selection, and the prioritization, strategic planning, strategic analysis, and strategic objectives. So I will explain each PYQ in a simple exam oriented way so that you can just write those answers properly in the exam and score good marks. Okay, so what keywords you have to remember for the specific question, so that I'm going to tell you, and you have to remember or memorize those keywords and write those in your exam. Okay, use those keywords in your exam. Okay, next is, and that is how you read the theory subject. Okay, so it's not mandatory that you have to memorize the exact sentence, but you have to remember the keywords, technical keywords, which is used for the specific questions, and that is how you score good marks in theory exams. Okay, and wherever diagram is necessary, you have to draw it. Okay, neatly. So first, module 1. So here we can see the coverage of module 1 syllabus. So we have to study the basic meaning of project, characteristics of projects, types of projects, scalability of the project tools, and project rules. After that, we will study project selection and prioritization, strategic planning process, strategic analysis, and followed by strategic objectives. So, this video flow will be simple. First, we will understand the concept, then see the PYQs, then learn how to write the answer in the exam. So wherever diagrams are useful, I will also explain simple diagrams that you can easily draw in the exam. And another thing I want to inform you here is if you have textbooks, so then you can refer the textbook diagrams as well. So yeah, so whatever diagrams I'm going to show you here is also fine, but still if you want to score good or above marks, so many faculties they check the exact diagram. Okay, where although it's not mandatory, but you can refer the textbooks, or else if you don't have the hard copy textbook, you can just go through these diagrams as well. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's get started. So PYQ first question. So let's start. So here you can see you have to know the definition of the project. So this is first important question. Define a project. Explain its meaning with the suitable example. A project is a temporary and non-routine effort undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Right? The important word here are temporary and unique. Okay, remember the word temporary and unique. So temporary means every project has a definite starting point or definite starting point and ending point. Whereas unique means the output is different from regular repeated work. Okay, so temporary and unique keyword you have to remember for this. Temporary means every project has a definite, okay, definite starting point and ending point, and unique means output is going to be different from regular repeated work. For example, let's say constructing a bridge, developing a new machine, launching a college website, or organizing a technical event are all the projects, right? In exam, you can write this line: a project is a temporary, unique, object-oriented activity carried out with limited time, cost, and resources. Are you clear? This line is very important. Okay, temporary and unique keyword you remember, and then write the meaning of temporary and write the meaning of unique and define it properly. A project is temporary, unique, objective oriented activity carried out with limited time, cost, and resources. So these are the keywords you can remember for defining the project. Okay. Next, you can see characteristics of project. The next important question, I would say, list and explain the important characteristics of project. A project has unique objectives. It is started to achieve a specific goal, and second is it has a temporary nature. It has a clear beginning and ending, and third, you can see it has a defined scope, which means the work to be completed is clearly mentioned, right? And the fourth year, you can see every project needs resources such as manpower, money, machines, materials, and time, right? And fifth, you can see projects always involve risk and uncertainty because of future result may not be fully predictable, right? And finally, we can see projects have a stakeholders. So stakeholders are the people who are involved in a project and or you can say affected by the project. Okay, so this five points you can remember for this characteristics. Okay, so in the exam, write the points as unique, objective, temporary nature, defined scope, resources, risk and stakeholders. So these keywords are important. Okay, unique, objective, temporary nature, defined scope, resources, risk, and stakeholders. Clear? Next, we can see next slide. Here we have understanding project. Okay, in this project versus operations. So here a project is temporary, whereas an operation is ongoing. Okay, a project gives a unique output, but an operation is going to give repeated output. I repeat again, a project is a temporary, whereas an operation is going to be ongoing. Okay. Next, what I'm saying is a project gives a unique output, but an operation gives a repeated output. Project is going to give the unique output, but an operation is giving a repeated output. Right? A project may involve people from different departments, while operations are usually handled by regular functional teams. I repeat again, a project may involve many people from different departments, while operations are usually handled by regular functional teams. Okay. Next point I would like to add is a project has more uncertainty, but operations are more stable and routine. Project is going to have more uncertainty, but operations are more stable and routine. For example, let's say building a new factory is a project, but running the factory every day is an operation. Very simple example, right? A building is a new factory is a project, but running a factory every day is an operation. So you can give different examples and keep on adding the points, and you can just add the sentences. Okay, you can add the points like how new factory is built, okay, as a project, and how you're going to run the factory every day in an operation. So what all operation a factory can consist of, that points you can justify. Okay, you can just write those lengthy answers. If it is asked for 8 marks, 10 marks. Okay, so the difference is useful for writing the answers when the question asks you to explain the meaning of project clearly. Okay, so next we can just move to next type of question, which is types of projects. So here you can see explain the different types of project with suitable examples. Project can be classified into different types. First is engineering or construction project such as bridges, building, dams, roads. Second is manufacturing or product development projects such as developing new machines or vehicle machines. Third is IT or software project such as ERP system, mobile apps, or college website. Fourth is research and development projects where new prototypes or innovations are created. And the fifth is service or event projects like conference, training programs, or workshop. And the sixth is social or government projects such as hospitals, roads, or water supply systems and welfare schemes. And in the exam, you can always write the type along with one example. This makes the answer complete, right? So write in this way only, remember this keywords for this specific question. Okay, we will move on to the next question. Next, we have core constraints of the project. This is very important diagram in a project is, and I repeat again, if you have the textbook, you can refer the textbook diagram, or else if you don't have, you can also use such a flow kind, or you can call it as a block diagram. Okay, so nothing wrong in drawing the block diagram. The flow should be correct. Okay, and the keywords which are used in the diagram should be correct. Okay, so this is very important diagram. A project is mainly controlled by a scope. I repeat, okay, these keywords are very important. A project is controlled by scope. First is scope, second is time, and then cost and quality are performance. Okay, quality or performance I am using. So four keywords, which is first one is scope. Okay, so project is controlled mainly by scope, then time, then cost and quality. Four keywords. So for quality, you can also use a word keyword called performance. So scope means what work has to be done, and time means what it is the project completion duration. Cost means the budget available for the project, and quality, when we talk about it, it means that the expected standard or the performance of the final output. If one constraint changes, the others are also affected. Okay, if one constraint changes, the other constraints are also going to be affected. This sentence is very important. Okay, if one constraint changes, the other all constraints are going to be affected. For example, let's say if the scope increases, okay, then the time and cost may also increase, right? If the project has to be completed quickly, then cost may increase or quality may be affected. Are you understanding? If the project has to be completed quickly, then cost may increase and or the quality may be affected. Right? So the project manager must balance the scope, time, cost, and quality. I repeat these keywords again and again for this, okay, core constraint. Okay, so project is controlled by these keywords. First one is scope, second is time, third is cost, and quality. I hope you will remember this keyword. Okay, you can draw the diagram in the questions related to the project success, project control, or understanding projects. Okay, if you are having questions related to project success, you can write this answer. In the question, the keyword, if you see project control, you can draw this diagram, you can remember this keyword. Or in question, there is something called understanding project, you can write this answer. I hope it is clear, right? So that is the reason I am using keywords over here. Okay, in the question, if you see any such kind of keywords, you can write the answer. Okay, so that is how I am making you to understand. So let's move to the next question, which is scalability of project tools. The next question is explain scalability of the project tools. Why should tools match project size? Scalability of tools means selecting project management tools according to the size. Okay, it is going to be according to the size, complexity, then cost, duration, team size, and also risk of the project. Okay, I repeat again, the scalability of project tools means selecting the project management tools. According to what? It is going to be the size, complexity, cost, duration, team size, and the risk of the projects. So for small projects, simple tools like checklist and simple schedules are enough. Okay. For medium projects, tools like WBS and Gantt charts, okay, are useful. And for the large projects, PERT, CPM, risk registers, and cost controls tools are being required. Okay. For very complex programs, project management software and dashboards are used. The reason is very simple. If we use very heavy tools for small projects, okay, it is going to waste time. If we use simple tools for complex projects, proper control is not possible, right? So the tool must match the project size and complexity. Okay, I repeat, the tool must match the project size and the complexity. Okay, so according, if it is a small project, what tools are being required, you have to remember. For medium size of project, what tools are being required, you have to remember. And for large projects, what kind of tools is required, you have to remember. And for complex programs, okay, what kind of tools can be used. Okay, the reason is very simple. I told, if we use very heavy tools for the small project, it is going to waste our time. Okay, if we use simple tools for the complex projects, proper control is not possible. So the tool must match the project size and the complexity. Clear? Let's move to the next question. Our next topic, you can see project roles. Explain the different roles involved in the project. First role here you can see is the sponsor or the owner. The sponsor approves the fund and gives overall directions. And the second role is the project manager. The project manager, what it is going to do? It is going to plan, organize, leads, monitors, and controls the project. And the third role is the project team. The team members execute the actual project task. And the fourth role is the customer or the user. They use the final output of the project. And the fifth role is the stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders are all the people or the groups affected by the project. And clear project roles are very, very important because they are going to reduce the confusion, improves the accountability, and going to support the faster decision making. So these are the keywords which you have to use for the project roles. Okay, project roles, you have to use these keywords and you have to explain what each role's functionality is. Okay, moving on to the next slide or next topic, strategic planning process. The next important question, it is like, explain here what it is saying. Explain the strategic planning process used before project selection. So strategic planning is a process of deciding the long term direction of an organization. First, the organization define its mission and vision. So what mission is going to tell? Mission tells why the organization exists, and vision tells where it wants to reach in the future. Okay, if you observe in your colleges, okay, there will be a board everywhere, even in the classroom or in the corridors. Okay, on the each floor there will be a mission vision board. Okay, I don't know whether you have observed it or not, but every organization has the mission and vision. Okay, so mission is going to tell why the organization exists, and vision is going to tell where it wants to reach in the future. Are you clear? So next, second, the organization performs the environmental analysis. This includes the internal and external analysis. And the third, it is going to set the strategic objectives, which are measurable targets. Okay, and next you can see the fourth, it performs the strategic formulation where different strategies are compared and selected. I repeat, it is going to perform the strategy formulations where different strategies are compared and selected. And finally, the projects are selected based on the based on whether they support the organization strategies or not. Okay, the key point is here that project must support organizational strategies, not personal preference. Okay, so remember here the project must always support the organization strategies, not the personal preference. Okay, organizational strategy it is going to support, not the personal preference. Okay, so these are the keywords which you can remember for this strategic objectives. Okay, next, moving on to the next question, which is strategic analysis. What is strategic analysis? Explain important analysis to us. So strategic analysis means studying the internal and external environment of an organization before selecting the project. Okay. What it is telling, strategic analysis, it is telling that studying a internal and external environment of an organization before selecting the projects. One important tool is SWOT analysis. S stands for strength. S stands for strength, W stands for weakness, O stands for opportunities, and T stands for threats. Okay, I repeat again. S is going to stand for strength, W stands for weakness, O stands for opportunities, and T stands for threats. Okay, so when I'm talking about which S stands for strength, there are internal positive factors. Okay, strength means it is going to have the internal positive factors. Where W stands for weakness, it is going to, these are the internal negative factors. Okay, S, which is strength, have the positive factors. Weakness are going to be the internal negative factors. Okay, and O stands for opportunities. So these are external positive factors. Okay, so opportunities where you are getting outside, right? So outside, what is another keyword for outside? You can use external, right? So external positive factors. And next, you can see T stands for threats. These are external negative factors. Okay, threats are nothing but they are external negative factors. Okay, so very easy to remember, right? Another tool is PESTLE analysis. Okay, PESTLE analysis. Okay, which is going to mean that P is going to stand for political, E is for economics, S is for social, T is for technological, L is for legal, and E is for environmental factors. Okay, so this each keyword you can explain in detail for the answer. Okay, P, I repeat, P is for political, E is for economic, S is for social, T is for technological, L is for legal, and E is for environmental factors. So strategic analysis helps an organization to decide which projects are necessary, beneficial, and aligned with long-term goals. Okay, so you can just write the answers for this specific question. Okay, anywhere this keyword is used, strategic analysis. So these all keywords you have to remember in your mind. Okay, memorize it and write down the answer for in the exam. Okay, next we have is strategic objectives. Okay, define strategic objective, explain SMART objectives. Okay, so strategic objectives are clear and measurable targets that are derived from the strategy of an organization. To make objectives effective, we use the SMART method. So here we have the full form. Here you can see S stands for, or S means specific. Here the objective must be clear. Specific, S means specific, objective must be clear. Next, M we have, which is measurable. It must be, so what it means, it must be possible to measure the progress. Okay, A means achievable, the target should be realistic. Okay, A means achievable, where it means that target should be realistic. And R is relevant, it should support the organization strategy. Okay, R means relevant, it should support the organization strategy. And here T means time bound, it should have a deadline. Okay, it should have a deadline. For example, reduce the production cost. Okay, for example, I'm telling, reduce the production cost by the 10% within 12 months. This is SMART objective, right? Because it is clear, measurable, realistic, relevant, and time bound, right? According to the SMART objective. Okay, strategy objective, you have to remember the word called SMART, and each letter what it defines and what it consists is what you can explain. What that keyword means, that explanation you can write, and along with that at the end you can just give the real time example. Okay, moving on to the next question, we have project selection or prioritization. The next important exam question is explain project selection and prioritization. So, project selection means choosing the best project from many available project ideas. But when we talk about project prioritization, means arranging selected projects in a order of importance. I repeat, when I'm talking about project selection, it means it is going to choose the best project from many available project ideas. Okay, so project selection, what I'm saying, it is going to choose the best project from many available project ideas, whereas project prioritization means arranging selected projects in the order of importance. So for which project you are going to give the more importance is what here it is talking about in project prioritization. Okay, the process starts with project ideas, then screening is done. After that, scoring or ranking is applied. Finally, the best project are selected as a part of project portfolio. Projects are prioritized based on value, urgency, risk, availability of resources, cost, and strategic importance. Okay, based on this, projects are prioritized. So these keywords are important when you are talking about project are prioritized based on what? Value, urgency, risk. Fourth keyword is availability of resource. Fifth is cost, and next is last one, strategic importance. So selection answer the question. Okay, selection answer the question, which project should we choose? Okay, prioritization answer the question. Okay, prioritization is the answer for this question. Because why? Because it is going to choose based on value, urgency, and how it is going to prioritize. Okay, which in order it will be selecting, right? So which project has the more importance? Okay, if the cost is available or not, and which is very very required or in emergency that project should be done, then most prioritize will be given to that specific project, right? So first project selection is done, and once we have selected the projects, based on those selected project, the project prioritization has been done. Okay, so first we are going to select the project, and then project prioritization is done based on which keywords: value, urgency, risk, availability of resources, cost, strategic, and importance. Okay, I hope it is clear. And next year you have project selection methods. Okay, so project selection methods are mainly divided into two types. First type is the benefit measurement methods. So these includes the cost benefit analysis, payback period, scoring model, and net present value. So this method compares the benefit and cost of different projects. And the second type which we have is the constraint optimization method. These include the linear, integer programming, simulation, and optimization models. So these methods are used when there are many constraints like budget, time, okay, and when we talk about resources. So for the exam, you can just write that simple organization commonly use scoring and financial methods, while complex organization use optimization methods, right? Next, we can see weighted scoring model. So here you can see the example. This is a numerical style concept. So the formula is very simple. Total score equals to sum of weight multiplied by rating, right? So total score is equals to sum of weight multiplied by rating. See, in the weighted scoring model, okay, first we decide the criteria. For example, we have profit, risk, strategy, fit, and technical feasibility. Then each criteria is given a weight based on importance. After that, each project is rated. Finally, we multiply weight and rating and add all the values. So that is what is done over here. The project with the highest total score gets the highest priority. Okay, so here you have the criteria. Here you have weight A and weight for project A, weight for project B, right? So here you can see these are the criteria for project A weights, project A and project B. So here you can see if we do the sum of project A and project B, which is the highest score, it is for the project B, right? So project B is given the higher score, so it gets the higher priority. Okay, so that is how it is being calculated. So this method is useful because it considers both financial and non-financial factors. Clear? So moving on to the next question, prioritization matrix. So this is simple diagram that can be used in prioritization. Answer: the matrix compass projects based on the strategic value and the urgency or risk. If the project has high value and high urgency, it should be done first. And if the project has high value but low urgency, it can be planned next. Okay, and if project has the low value and low urgency, it can be avoided or delayed. Right, whatever is there, that only I am telling. Okay, if the prior project has more value but high urgency, then management should check whether it is really needed or not. Okay, so this matrix is useful when many project ideas are competing for limited budget, time and resources. Okay, next we have project life cycle curve. So this is the another expected diagram. So again I repeat, if you have textbook, you can use the textbook diagram. If not, you can go with this, because very last moment preparation, if you are not finding any study material, at least this study material is enough for you to study. Okay, so the project life cycle contains the four main phases: initiation, planning, execution and closing. Okay, in the initial phase, effort and cost are very low because the project is only being started, right? And in the planning phase, what you're going to have in the planning phase, effort slowly increases because detailed planning is done, right? And in the execution phase, effort and the cost are maximum, okay, because actual work is being performed. And in the closing phase, effort reduces because the project is about to complete and handed over and it is being closed, right? So that is how you can draw the curve when the question is asked about the project phases or project life cycle. Okay, so this diagram you can use, and each keywords you have to explain in detail. So that's it. So this is just a revision, last minute revision, where you can just have topics. Here I have written the topics. Okay, so those topics you can go. Okay, and writing the answer format, you can see definition, diagram, points, example, conclusion. Okay, you can just use this. So yeah, this is the last slide. So that's it for this video. And if you want the notes for this module 1, you can just visit the website called vtusmartprep.com. Okay, here it is there, vtusmartprep.com, and there you have to sign up, enter your details. Once you sign up, you will get the confirmation mail. Once you confirm it, and then you can just sign in. And once you sign in, there you can just at the top right, you can select the open elective subject, and whichever subject you have, just select it, and then you will get the notes for the particular module 1 year. Okay, according to the subject. So that's it, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you want module 2 important questions, you can just comment on this video, and I'll try to make the important questions for module 2, module 3, module 4 and module 5. So that's it for this video. Till now I have I have covered only module 1, so that you can study as of now. And in the next video, I'll try to cover module 2, module 3 and module 4, as well as module 5. So that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.